Welcome everyone to the nominee interviews for Epoch 7. Today with me I have Thanatos. What is good, my man?
Hey TSG, nice. Thanks a lot for having me. I'm super excited to be here and join you in this interview here.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you on, man. This is the first time that we've really chatted, so I'm really keen to kind of pick your brain and see where you stand on a lot of these questions and issues that people are bringing up. So let's not waste any time. Let's jump straight into it. This is a
Yeah,
topic
sure.
that just doesn't go away at all. The council pay, council compensation, council salary. That it's a topic that's always being brought up every election, and I want to get your take on it. So, what's your take on the current state of the council pay? We've just recently got the IIP suggesting that we move from USDC into ILV. What are your thoughts on that? Do you agree, disagree? And what are your thoughts on the actual amount of salary and amount of compensation? Do you think that's fair for what the council is doing currently, based on your perception?
Yeah, sure. So I've been following the discussions around that in the Discord quite frequently, and I personally can understand why there's this sentiment within the community right now. I would say the main issue is that many people believe that either the payment is too high for what's being done right now by the council, or the effort is simply too low to be adequate for the amount they receive. So, and I believe that's simply because there's a lack of transparency right now, and people can't tell like what's being done in the background, and therefore these are only assumptions. However, I believe those are justified assumptions by the community.
Yeah.
A few months ago, without the macroeconomic issues going on around the world with like the bear market and so on, the sum that is being paid to the council didn't appear to be as weightful as it is now. So I also believe that I don't see it quite fitting to the current situation we are in right now.
Yeah.
But to come back to your question, so yes, so in case I'm being elected for the council, I would be ready to take cuts in the payment,
Yeah.
or even like fully forfeit my payment for the better of the DAO and the ILV community. I also agree to the recent IIPs to change the payment from stablecoins to ILV. That is definitely a step in the right direction.
Yeah. Okay, so this is actually fascinating, and I want to dive a little bit deeper here, where you said you're willing to take cuts. So again, let's take that assumption that there is a lack of transparency, and where we're completely unsure of what the council is actually doing. If we play on that a little bit more, based on your perception and what you think they're doing, what do you think is a fitting compensation for what they are doing?
So I would say, depending on the effort that is being done, like maybe if we like increase the transparency in what's being done, and like offer like some more insights for the community as to like which responsibilities the council has, or like which tasks they're working on, and depending on that, we can make like a flexible or dynamic pay amount for the council. So definitely, I would either take like a probably like if nothing is being done like really, and then there's like no need for much of a payment. But in case there's a higher effort, then we'll definitely like adjust it accordingly. So I would say like a dynamic approach to that would be like fitting for that.
Yeah, interesting. So not nothing necessarily fixed, but more
Yeah.
based on the effort and the results. Interesting. That's the first
Yeah.
I've heard of that, but very interesting. And again, you kind of you did mention this before, and I'm going to ask because I'm asking everyone this. But if you are
Mhm.
elected, would you actually be willing to forfeit your council for the good of the Illuvium runway?
I mean, I pretty much answered that, I guess. So I would, like I said, I'm ready to take cuts, or even like fully forfeit it, depending on like the effort that is being needed.
Yeah.
So coming back to that whole dynamic approach, I think that makes sense to adjust it accordingly.
Yep, interesting, very interesting. All right, so let's move on to the next question that I have here, and that is, in the last 6 months, how have you actually contributed to Illuvium, and why do you believe that that has actually been helpful to the DAO?
So first and foremost, like many others, I'm staked within the protocol, and I can say that's pretty much with all of my portfolio since last October. And I actually like keep adding to my stakes whenever it is possible, really. Luckily, I've also been elected for the private beta, and I've been really enjoying the game so far. I was also able to provide some feedback regarding bugs here and there. I'm quite active in Discord. Like I mean, a few a few weeks ago, mostly. Since then, it's quite a struggle because of some more real life issues here I have right now. But I'm trying to provide support to questions, especially regarding staking and how to be secure in the space with like protecting your wallet, for example, with a hardware wallet. I actually have made a video a few weeks ago also regarding that.
Cool.
And as for my value for the community, I would say that I can bring in the perspective of a gamer and represent those people as best as possible, being a gamer since I can pretty much think of. And also, I also see the community pretty much consisting of two parties. So there are the investors and the gamers. And I want to primarily focus on the gamers, as I truly believe that getting as many non-crypto gamers into the universe will be the key for the long-term success of ILV and
Yeah.
Illuvium and the Illuvium community.
Absolutely, absolutely. And again, so I want to dive in a little bit deeper again. So one of my questions here is, what unique value proposition can you offer that separates you from the other nominees? You've mentioned that the value that you can bring is from the point of view of a gamer. So and that's a very respected and valued uh, perspective that you can bring. But in regards to being unique, the truth is there are a lot of gamers in the community.
Yeah.
Do you have a specific, unique value proposition that you'd be able to offer that you think that directly separates you from all of the other nominees?
I mean, I can pretty much bring in not only the gaming background, but also the technical understanding from my studies, which I did. Like I studied informatics and also like work pretty much doing my master's in international management now. So pretty much I combine the technical understanding and also the business understanding now in also my current job as a technical product owner, where I'm working for a multi-billion-dollar company right now. So I pretty much bring in the whole aspect, which is in my opinion, needed in order to get like a full understanding of the current situation we are in, and bring in like strategic ideas that could bring forward the whole community and bring in like prospects to that.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. All right. So again, let's now move over to the next topic, and that is governance V2 or governance in general. So we're closer
Mhm.
than ever to actually having governance V2 being proposed. So with that in mind, what do you see as the major flaws of governance V1, and how would you like to amend that in governance V2 if it was up to you?
So I guess the main flaw goes hand in hand with what I said earlier about the community sentiment right now, that there's a huge lack of transparency in what the council has been doing and what they've been working on. So for the community, it only appears to be like a bi-weekly council meeting discussing about some aspects. And for that reason, I think it is understandable that people believe a payment of 5K is too much for that.
Mhm.
In order to change that in V2, I think the council needs to have more defined roles, responsibilities, and tasks. And therefore, the community expectations and opinions need to be factored in better.
Yep.
So overall, the transparency of what has been done and what's being planned can be very crucial in V2.
Right. Interesting. And we'll go into that a little bit later as well. Before we do that, though, if governance V2, if let's say you are elected and let's say governance V2 is approved during your term, would you be
Mhm.
willing to cut your term short in order to conduct a new election so we can transition from V1 to V2, potentially risking your position on the council?
So I would like to represent the community as optimally as possible. Therefore, if V2 was to be approved during my term, I would be actually fine with having a new election happening, and I would pretty much be nominating myself again for it.
Mhm.
I guess, I mean, that's the best way for the DAO and the community to like select the optimal way of governance, and therefore they should be the decision makers for that.
Yep. Understood. Understood. Fair. All right. And so again, this is the last question that I have, and it actually relates to your answer that you just had previously. But if you were to formally write an IIP to clarify what the council members' duties and their roles and their time commitments, what would be included in that IIP? What are you really expecting from a council member that maybe isn't I won't say isn't being met right now, but maybe is perceived as not being met right now?
I mean, regarding time commitment, it isn't always like simple to define a certain time commitment which is like needed for the council. For example, like a 20-hour week, because there are always like people who can finish tasks more efficiently and quicker than others. But there should definitely be like a bare minimum of time defined that is need to be planned in for council work.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, possibly 10 hour per week, like a minimum, could be an option for that. And then we could see like how it goes from there and adjust that accordingly.
Yeah.
As for the duties, I would say there should be like some quick alignment meetings every 2 or 3 days within the council so that each member can get insights as to what they're working on and what is planned next. In case the community desires it, there should also be like some meeting minutes available for them to increase the transparency. And I guess the council members are also supposed to stay very active in the chats and in the Discord and be interactive with the community, especially related to the discussions regarding going on over new IIPs. The council members are supposed to provide the necessary insights that can further help to better understand the sentiment of the community.
Yeah. So in regards to that, in regards to being engaging in the community, I know there are some council members now and previously that have taken a more, let me not participate in the conversation, let me absorb what the conversation is, what the community sentiment is, and then act on that instead of directing the conversation themselves. So that approach does go against the engagement with the community. But do you see any value to that, or do you think that it is more beneficial to be more hands-on in the community as a council member?
I mean, both ways actually have their pros and cons, of course. But in my opinion, it makes more sense to be like on hands and interactive with the community, because there's like, in my opinion, that's the best way to find out like the true sentiment of the community, and maybe have like quick polls going on, like to get like some more data for regarding like some aspects, and also be like and keep the interactive level going there.
Yep. Yeah. Understood. Understood. All right, man. Yo, so that was the last question, and you've flown through these. So I appreciate you taking the time to be here, answer these questions. Is there anything else you want to say before we close this out? Where can people find you? How can people reach out and ask you questions? Anything like that?
So definitely, thank you for inviting me to this. I'm quite active in Discord, so you can reach out to me on the Discord definitely. Also on Twitter, and I actually plan on starting my YouTube channel. So
Hey.
once I actually once I finalized my degree in a few months, I could be like I could have more time to actually like fully get into it, because it's quite stressful right now with work and studies going on in parallel. But yeah, so definitely reach out to me on Discord. I'm glad to have a chat with you, and yeah,
Awesome.
thank you
Yo,
for having me.
that's good, man. And yo, I'm looking forward to you making a YouTube channel. Definitely reach out to me when that happens. But all right, yo, guys,
Yeah.
appreciate you guys for watching. We're gonna have a lot more of these nominee interviews coming up, so make sure that you're subscribed to the channel and keep up to date with all things governance. Appreciate you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.